so big budget that even if you have a small part, you're on the set. There's all this catering. You know, you're kind of spoiled.
Is that your first movie?
It was one of my first. I did some TV. My
Fantasy
agent.
Island, Magnum PI.
Yeah, my agent back then was Ray Cavallari, and he's still my agent.
Oh wow.
He's great. But then I took a break for a while, and I went back and I got my MBA, and I was in technology marketing for a long time. I was an AP, and then
you were a publicist for a while, weren't you?
I started marketing departments. I started 4 marketing departments from the ground up, and that's where I learned PR. You know, and so that's why.
We could use some lessons here at the Dark Mark Show. I don't
Really?
think we're getting out.
Well, I miss Social Butterfly for Effective Magazine because it is a passion. I mean, I love acting. That's number one. I've been studying it my whole life, but I love PR too because it's what I used to do for companies.
Well, would it be safe to call you a scream queen?
You know, scream queens are really famous for that, like Brink Stevens, who was in Robowoman. So I'd be honored to be called a scream queen, but I don't think I really am because I don't think I've been in anything big enough to be called a scream queen.
Although you've been in Grindsploitation 666,
Yeah.
The Alien's Wife. I've got quite a few things here, and this is what
they weren't horror, you know.
Yeah.
So scream queens were the ones that get killed,
Yeah.
you know.
This is what Hannah's always wanted to do.
Since I was a little girl.
You were in an Amityville horror movie. You were in The Grim Weaver. You were in all sorts of crazy stuff. That was it. Vape wearing.
Vape Wars. That was more of an action television series. See, I've done really a lot of action, a lot of comedy, and I've done since I met
like Horn Dog's Beat Party.
Oh, that was a comedy.
Yeah.
And that, you know, lately I'm working with this genius director named Dustin Ferguson, and that's why I'm doing all of this horror now. But Dustin won Best Director, and I won Best Actress Science Fiction for Nemesis 5.
Right.
And that was executive produced by Albert Pyun, who is a legend. And so Dustin is also going into different genres. He's a fixture in horror. He's done 50 films, I think, but now he's doing, he did Nemesis 5 and won awards for it, and now we're doing Robowoman starting November 8th.
And Nemesis 5 is kind of like spun off of Cyborg, is that?
Well, there was Nemesis is a fantastic film. It's a classic, and Carrie. I can't ever remember his name, but you would know him. Hiroki. He's got 3 names, and he was.
I know who you're talking about. The guy that was in Mortal Kombat. He was the
Yes. Okay. He was in it. Oliver Gruner was in it.
Right.
Deborah Shelton was in it, who was Miss USA and was absolutely gorgeous. It's an amazing film, and it's the classic of the series. And my co-star in Robowoman is Sue Price, who starred in Nemesis 2, 3, 4, and 5 for Albert.
So you took this long break. You went and you got your MBA. And you got married, I believe. So this is probably 20 years. Why did you get back into it?
I love acting. I didn't want to leave in the first place. You know, I was with a theater company for 12 years, but I'm from an Asian family, so I had to go back and finish my bachelor's. And actually, I had just done Magnum PI. I was Cleo the Snake Dancer, and I had just gotten. I had gotten to a really good place in my career, but my personal life fell apart. So I have 2 daughters. I had to move back into my mom's house and start all over. So I finished my bachelor's and got my MBA, and then I started a business career.
Right.
But acting's always been my passion and my first love. So 8 years ago, my husband just told me I could go back, and
that's nice of him.
Yeah, I have a wonderful husband.
That's great. That's great. Now you were talking about you were in Magnum PI you were the
Cleo the snake dancer.
snake dancer. Because we were talking before, we were waiting for you.
I know.
Oh, we were,
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. We were talking with Jello here about his sideshow hijinks.
Yes, I've been in many sideshows.
Now, how did you get into that?
When you're interested in something, I tend to push it as far as I can. So
Right.
the first sideshows I saw was a kid when you'd go in and they'd be like, "We're gonna unveil behind here the man-eating chicken."
Yeah.
And there's a man-eating chicken, and then like the dolls of things, and I started reading up on things that they do in there. I've always like fire breathers, and then I saw the Jim Rose circus when I was a young teenager, and I'm like, I want to know how they do that because I know it's a trick. And the first thing I learned to do was eat glass.
And what's it? He's not gonna do it right now. Well, what's the trick behind that? Or maybe he is. I don't know. Yeah. What is the trick? I always ask a couple people and they never divulge. Just get into small enough pieces, or
Basically.
yeah.
But still, doesn't it tear up your stomach?
Or get a little sharp in your tongue.
I know.
I hear if you get it small enough, it turns your feces glittery.
Oh.
I'm not kidding.
Especially if
Red
there's
glitter.
glitter in it. No, it's kind of without giving too much away. You could also eat sand.
Oh.
Yeah, that doesn't sound very appetizing.
Yeah, it's not the best thing in the world. Like, I'm not gonna
It's not
start.
Doomy's home cooking.
Yeah, I'm not gonna start doing that instead of my vegan burrito or
Yeah.
whatever.
I'll tell you, the vegan burritos are good at Doomy's.
But yeah, and then from there I got into breathing fire and I
Breathing
saw-
out, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you have to make sure you don't have to actually get your lungs right.
Well, eating fire is just, it's like putting a match out. But I don't like doing that one as much, because it's not as much fun. You could do a lot of, people are getting really innovative now with breathing fire, and I'm not nearly as good as some of the people I've seen, but I've seen, you wax your face up enough, and if you could control your breath, you could keep the fire going and move around like a dragon. And that's pretty cool. And but the thing that was easiest for me to do and seemed to get the biggest reaction from audiences is I used to lift a couple cinder blocks with my scrotum and walk
A couple of cinder blocks.
I could lift two.
Wow.
And it's with that it started with like, I'm gonna take this gym bag or this, and then lying, and then as you build it up, you
Start with a paper clip, and then you.
Yeah, and then eventually I have to do something cool, and I think the most interesting thing I picked up was I stood on two 3-foot ladders and picked a bicycle up.
Wow.
With your scrotum.
Well, yeah.
How do you do
And your
that?
scrotum was out?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. I don't want to. That's for private.
And
only. I don't want to. I don't want people to see my scrotum.
It's for young kids because it definitely leaves a mark.
So I mean, how loose is your sack?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
Extremely. I like to make a joke that I could do perpetual motion with my knees and my ball bag at this point in my life. I'm after that 40 mark, and the race between my balls and shaft. The balls are far out.
Yeah, I was gonna say because it sags anyway.
Yeah.
And then you got the cinder blocks.
Yeah, if I'm in a high watered bowl, I have to lob them over my shoulder.
Sure.
Do you wear gloves when you?
So, yeah, I pretty much just whip out the front. For one, I only want you to see the ball bag because that's huge and pendulous, and the rest of it is very average. I don't want anyone to see that.
I'll take your word for it. If you want to find out more, I'm not sure. Go right
You
ahead.
didn't have to say that.
Yeah. And in your dating life, are women are they surprised? Are they like, whoa?
No, I don't have a dating life for one, and generally, it's a giggle point more than anything else. It's like, oh yeah, dude, you'd really expect more from.
Have you been dating guys with loose socks? Is that what's happening there?